Greetings, my saplings. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to be discussing the orange and also the black off-white Zoom flies. To be more specific, like always in these how to cop guides, we're going to be talking about some release info for the shoes, how to cop them, and of course, some resale predictions for those of you interested in selling them. But in my opinion, these shoes are just another beautiful shoe, another one this month that I personally just want to rock. But of course, it's up to you. You do what you want. So let's jump right into some release info. So to kick it off, these will be releasing on June 14th for $200. Now, you have to keep in mind that the release is scheduled for June 14th for most retailers. However, the Nike sneakers release will, of course, be a random release. We're going to talk more in depth about this when we get into the how to cop portion of the video. As of now, though, let's talk about what these shoes actually are for. Well, basically, Virgil and Nike both decided to team up and create a shoe specifically for the soccer event that is coming up. As you guys know, or should know, it is the World Cup. For instance, if you follow football, or I guess you could say soccer, if you check out the shoe and you see polka dots on the shoe, you might notice that those polka dots actually stand for key strike zones in football. In addition to both of these shoes, you should also expect the clothing to drop on the same day on Nike sneakers as the surprise drop for these. So now jumping into the how to cop portion of the video, first of all, we're going to be talking about Nike sneakers because there's a lot of important stuff that I wanted to mention to you guys. So you might be wondering, okay, when are these going to be releasing? Are these going to be releasing on June 14th? Or is it another day? Well, June 14th is definitely a possibility. In my opinion, just a personal prediction, I think that they're either going to do it right before the World Cup around that time, or perhaps they may even do it during the World Cup, or perhaps they might do it directly after the World Cup is over, as soon as it's done. Of course, you should be prepared for anything, and you might be wondering, why in the world do they do these surprise drops? Well, basically, it's just so more manual users like us on this channel here could actually get our hands on these shoes, because normally on Nike sneakers, bots do unfortunately mostly win, whether it's a draw or a first come first serve. In this case, it's gonna be a first come first serve, and we'll talk more about that. But first of all, you're wondering, okay, if this is a surprise drop, how do I know when these things drop? Well, there's a couple of ways to know. The first way to know is if you download the J23 app. Now, the J23 app specializes in Jordans. However, they do also send out notifications for things such as these Nike off-white sneakers. If they potentially drop on the website through a surprise drop, they'll send out a notification to all the users who own the app. But the app does cost money, and of course, you don't really need to buy the app. It's just another layer of security if you want to play it safe. You could also follow the J23 app's Twitter, although their Twitter notification is a little delayed in comparison to their app notification. However, my #1 source, other than J23 app, is actually Solinks. Turn on tweet notifications for Solinks, and they often tweet out before the J23 app releases their notification. But I do want to mention, if you don't trust any of these sources, which I personally do trust these sources, but if you don't trust any of them, feel free to download a page monitor such as the Page Monitor Chrome extension or the Visual Ping Chrome extension, and you could have emails sent to your phone. So it's basically just like a notification. One thing I would like to mention about all free page monitors, at least with my personal experience, when you do get emails, or say you're near your computer, when you wait for the little bell to go off, it is slightly delayed in comparison to, say, Solinks tweeting out. So guys, that's just my #1 advocation, to at least give Solinks a shot and to turn on tweet notifications for them. So of course, leading up to the drop, it could happen at any possible time. It might even happen way earlier than the 14th. So just guys, please stay near your phone if it's possible. I understand a lot of you guys have work. I have work and school, so it's kind of difficult, but just make sure whenever you feel your phone vibrate or go off, just make sure to check it really quickly, just in case. So with that out of the way, let's actually talk about the process. So say you know exactly when they're going to be dropping, you get their notification, now you're wondering, okay, what happens? What happens during this drop? So I'm going to walk you through this. First of all, you might be wondering, is it going to be a draw or is it going to be a first come first serve? I can tell you right now, it's not going to be a draw. At least this is what we've seen so far with the previous off-white surprise drops. It's going to be a first come first serve release, and the reason I'm saying first come first serve it's not necessarily first come, first serve. It's not exactly who could buy the quickest. What Nike essentially likes to do is they allow people to purchase the shoe for 2 to 4 minutes. They submit their payments, and then Nike will allow certain individuals to purchase the shoe based off of accepting their payment. So this does mean, of course, if you happen to be 30 seconds late, like you checked your phone like a minute too late or something, you still have a very high chance of copying the shoe. But of course, you do want to have your account ready. By ready, what I mean is go into your settings on your account. You should have your size already selected. If you only plan on reselling the shoe, I always advocate going for a 10 and a 10.5, because there's about the same demand in those sizes in comparison to a lot of other sizes, but there is a lot more stock in those sizes, meaning that you'll make a little less money, but you still are going to be making a significant amount of money. So if you want to play it conservative, go for 10 and 10.5. Of course, if you're wearing the shoe, go for your personal size, guys. Then moving on, you also want to make sure you fill in your address and check the box that states set this as my default address, otherwise you're gonna have to type it in manually. Then you should also do the same exact thing for payment. I do suggest using PayPal just because I've had a lot of success through PayPal. Of course, you could do whatever you want. If you only have credit or debit, that's fine too. I've taken W's that way. And if you want to give it a shot, use Touch ID. I personally do use Touch ID on my iPhone. I know some iPhones even do the Face ID, so if you want to do that, feel free to give it a shot, but I do understand that some people do have errors when it comes to this, but it's up to you. You do whatever you want to do. Now, regarding multiple accounts, since this isn't necessarily a first come, first serve release, you are going to want to use as many accounts as possible, but it is important to note that if you use too many, you can get IP banned. So what's the limit? So far, through trial and error, what I figured out is that it is 3 or less per IP address. For instance, you could have your wife, you could have your kid, and you could have yourself, or you could have your mom and dad and yourself all on the same IP address, aka the same Wi-Fi, going for them on Nike sneakers. But I would like to mention, if you want to use more, here's what you have to do. Option number 1, you can use multiple devices all on long-term evolution. Therefore, they will have separate gateways. Or if you happen to be at work or school, if you have a VPN on your computer, every time you go to buy the shoe, and these should be on different Chrome users, when you go to buy the shoe, all you gotta do is change up the location for the VPN every time you go to purchase the shoe. Just some information for multiple accounts, guys. You do want to make sure that you're using different phone numbers for every single account. You might be wondering, how in the world am I supposed to get different phone numbers? All you got to do, use your friend's phone number, text them, ask them, hey, can I get that verification code you just got? Plug it in, and it's as simple as that. Also, I can confirm for you guys that you can use the same exact address when it comes to these first come, first serve releases. For draws in the future, I'm not necessarily sure if you can. I do like to tamper with the address a little bit, like I changed the last word up. But for first come, first serve releases, I have had multiple pairs of those homage to homes sent to my house, and I didn't change up the addresses at all. So you could definitely keep that the same, but what I did do is I used different payment methods. So that's something I would suggest. So basically for Nike sneakers, guys, just be ready. It could be any time within now to the 14th. I'm assuming that it's probably going to be closer to the World Cup, but you never know what could happen. Now, on the 14th, and actually a little later as well, we are going to be getting many more raffles for these. We're going to get a lot of first come, first serve releases, and these actually will be shipping worldwide, so no matter where you live, you will have a chance to cop these shoes. For instance, one of them that I actually can confirm for you will be Sneakers and Stuff. Sneakers and Stuff is doing a raffle for these. Of course, it didn't actually open up yet. It will be open in, I believe, 6 days or 5 days, something along the lines of that. But more importantly, there's going to be many more, and I will keep you updated on those. All the links for raffles will always be on my Twitter, which is KeithAdam10. And of course, I will make a tips for copying video where I encompass all the raffles and stuff, how to get multiple entries, all the first come, first serve releases, all the in-store raffles. So turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on that. So with the how to cop portion of the video out of the way, let's talk some resale really quick, because hey, I want to wear the shoe, but I get it. Some of you guys just want to sell the shoe and make a few bucks. So do I think they're going to sell out? Absolutely. Do I think that they're going to resell? Absolutely. I think that comes easy to most of us who've been in the game for at least a decent amount of time. If you're wondering for a price range for what I'm expecting, what could your potential profits be, I would say that it's going to be very, very similar to what we saw with the Off-White Vapormaxes. So probably in anywhere from like $500 to $600, maybe even a little less initially, and perhaps they'll rise a little over time. But honestly, guys, it really doesn't matter this number prediction that I'm giving you. All that matters is that we know that this shoe is going to be profitable with the retail price of $200. We know that there's a ton of demand for Off-White and Nike shoes, and even though on all second Off-White and Nike shoe releases, obviously these aren't the original Off-White Zoom Flies, since this is a second release, there is definitely a lot more stock on these, but it is still low stock. But with that, I'll conclude the video. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, if you perhaps learned a thing or two. Also, definitely subscribe and turn on notifications so you stay updated on these and any other hyped shoe releasing in the future. Also, guys, definitely stay tuned for that live stream on Saturday for the blushes. We will be live copying them. Also, of course, for those Jordan 4 Travis Scotts, also known as the Cactus Jacks. But with that, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys later.
Ding 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 ding, bing bang, ding 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 ding.